Hitepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Kasakma Keperu with another video for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to program reality to grant your desires. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. Also, if you're interested in learning more about my spiritual teachings, please click on the ebooks below. Just scroll down, and we have free ebooks for you that will give you more detailed information on my spiritual philosophy. Also, if you want to take that to the next level, become a Patreon supporter. Starting on October 1st, we'll have on Patreon the book club, where we'll be going into the first book, Ma'at, the 11 Laws of God. So that's going to be really exciting if you want to join that book club. That's going to be Thursday, October 1st. And you can order that book on Amazon.com. Again, that's God, the 11 Laws, I'm sorry, Ma'at, the 11 Laws of God. And on Patreon, if you become a supporter, we have a lot of exclusive videos on meditation, transformation to totally overhaul you into a spiritual being, videos on hypnosis, videos on how to invoke positive spirits for protection, videos on how to charge magical amulets. And if you're an Asir level supporter, we have videos which will be to help you understand how to do oracle readings, and you'll get all your oracle readings for free as an Osira supporter. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. So Haru Nefer, I want to talk about a really kind of important issue when we get into this whole exciting thing about how you're going to shape and create your world, your reality that meets with your expectations, because there's no reason why you should be going through reality and being hit or thrown here and there and just not have a measure of control about what happens in your life. You see, we have given up control. We've given up our magic tortoise, as the I-ching talks about. We're no longer in control of our lives because we have been taught by the ruling elite that we are humans, that there is an outside world, that we have no say in how it unfolds, and that's really a lie. You have power, you have direct control over how things transpire in your life. You cannot control it 100%. There's always going to be an X factor. There's something that's going to come along and throw you for a loop. It's going to catch you off guard. That's life. That's how it was meant to be. But Nebuchadnezzar granted you the power to control what's going on in your 4D reality, because it's a subjective experience. It's an experience that you are going through, and that you have a measure and means of controlling it. If you understand what has happened in history, our history has been rewritten. We have amnesia now. So we don't remember what has happened in the past, and they have plugged in or uploaded a virus, a new program, which tells us that our past was one of a primitive start, one where we were hunter-gatherers and things of that nature. But we all know, if you've been studying my teachings, that our history is one of advanced technology. And when I speak about technology, I'm talking about our ancestors worked with crystals, the Earth's meridians, energy sources, the pyramids, which collected energy and power and cycled that and spit that throughout the entire world, the globe. Our ancestors were very, very sophisticated and knew how to use natural technology from the Earth's core, understanding the magnetic field of the Earth and harnessing that. So this is a technology that we worked in, harnessing crystal power. So there wasn't no primitive people in those times who didn't know anything. We already mapped out the psychology and the physiology of the body and the mind, the brain. We knew all of these things. We had traveled through the underworld and went through the life after death experience and brought that knowledge back to pass on to our next generation. All of this information was there, but the ruling elite Illuminati went about a campaign to destroy this information, to oppress it, and therefore upload in it a new program to where we would think in terms of linear, meaning that everything starts from a very base, primitive beginning, and then progresses upward when things actually go into a cycle. It's cyclical, you know? So we have to keep that in mind, and we also have to understand that our history was purposely destroyed and usurped by evil collective, whatever you want to call them, the cabal, the elite, but they were the ones that brought down many of our civilizations. We know that Kemet fell, Atlantis fell. So we just have to keep in mind and understand that they were great civilizations of high technology and high moral value that have been done away purposely to put us into the dark ages. This is why you hear concepts of people being able to work the law of attraction, work reality transurfing, and you kind of look at that side-eyed and you think, oh, is that really possible? Of course it's possible. Of course it can happen. But we have been so indoctrinated into the ideology of this corrupt society. And I do mean it is a corrupt society because it teaches you that you are the physical being, that you are human, that you are the body. There's no more to you. That's the end and be all. You are consciousness. You are a power, an unbelievable power that creates everything that you see before you. Yes, I said creates everything you see before you. You create this 4D experience to interact with it, to have an experience so that God can experience it, because God is within you as consciousness, the all-seeing eye, the Uchat. Keep that in mind. You are a Ser, a God, dwelling within a physical body. God cannot manifest in this fourth dimensional plane, because God is immaterial. You can't see, feel, hear, or taste God. So God has to place its consciousness, its immaterial within you to have this experience. And you must also know that you're a multidimensional being. So as a multidimensional being, you're going through an infinite number of experiences right now as what we call as a singularity. Is all encapsulated into one, a singularity of an infinite number of experiences going on simultaneously, but you are only awake and aware of this present experience, one among the infinite number, and you can shift consciousness to experience those other realms. This is what we call astral projection. People erroneously say, well, I'm going to project and go to a new dimension or new world. That's incorrect to say that, because when you're dealing with 5D, the fifth dimension, and you're going to so-called astral project, you're going to the right brain, which doesn't have a concept of time or space. It is absent. So therefore, there's nowhere for you to go, because everything is one, the singularity. I want you to understand that. Now, we must deal with this issue of controlling our reality. That's what we do as magi's, as magicians. We seek to say, how do we have dominion over this fourth dimensional experience, 3 dimensions of time and 1 of space, the fourth dimension. Fifth dimension, the absence of time and space, all is one. So how do we gain dominance over this so-called reality, which is really Maya and it's an illusion? Well, there are 2 things I'm going to reveal to you that will help you, very, very simple techniques that will help you to craft and create your world. You can be world building, because each time you wake up in the morning, you have an opportunity to create the world that you will interact with. You don't have to be subjected to what is going on. Keep that in mind. And the ruling elite uses these techniques against you, because what they want you to do is to manifest the chaotic world that you're experiencing now. One where you'll have pain, suffering, strife. This is not the world that we want. This is not the world that we signed up for. But the reason that it's allowed to happen, because we are manifesting it. So the first thing I want you to understand is there's 2 ways that you can manifest the world that you're experiencing right now. And you can actually create scenarios, situations in your life that go according to your wishes. The first thing is symbols. See, your subconscious mind works through symbology, works through symbols. And if you can program that mind by bombarding it with enough symbols that have a meaning to you, then your subconscious mind will automatically manifest it. For example, spiders. Okay, what is a spider? A spider has a symbolic meaning to it. What does a cat mean to you? What does a vase mean to you? These are symbols that stand in for reality. They have a meaning for them. What does a square, a rectangle mean to you? The ruling elite uses these symbols, and they program you with these symbols in their musical concerts on TV, through the shapes of certain buildings. This is why the obelisk is a phallus symbol. It's an erection. It means vitality. It means a lot of other things, resurrection. But your subconscious mind understands this because we have the collective consciousness and we share these archetypes and these symbols, and they are meaningful. And when these symbols get programmed into the subconscious mind, they are interpreted and then manifest in your life. If you're afraid of snakes, what does snakes really mean? Because your subconscious mind will manifest what the meaning of that snake is. Does that snake means cunning individuals? So if you program yourself with that fear of snakes, will you also be bringing into your reality friends who are cunning and who will backstab you? You don't want that. This is why you seek to become Osir, to separate yourself from the emotional hangups that you're going through, that drama, that baggage. Because you don't want to have emotional reaction, especially a negative, fearful reaction to something, because fear is one of the most easiest things to manifest. See, your right brain is going to look for symbols. It's going to take those symbols and interpret them into something and manifest them into something. And you're going to experience that. So that is the one primary way that the ruling elite gets away with getting you to manifest stuff, is because they bombard you with these signs and symbols, these geometric shapes that have an impact upon you. Now, the other way, and the most common way of manifesting into reality, or new situations and scenarios in your life, which you can do rather easily, is through heteru, imagination. Think of situations, things that you want, situations that you want to happen. Let me say it again, situations that you want to happen. Role play those over in your mind over and over and over again. See them play out. Embellish them with emotions, because emotions had a ruse, joy. The more joyful you tie, or the more joy you tie to that visualization, that image, the more likely of it for it to manifest. Now, the other key to this is you must throw it within the Amen state, at the peace state. So when you've indulged that scenario, you've played out the scenario a number of times, and it's very meaningful to you, and you've embedded it with an emotion, then you cast it away and you forget about it. Then move on to the next one, and then move on to the next one, and the next one. Keep visualizing scenarios that you want to happen in your life and embed them with emotions, but only do it for a certain period of time, and cast it away to the back of your mind. And the way that you'll keep it in the back of your mind and keep from thinking about it, because if you think about it, you bring it back to the conscious waking state, and it doesn't have time to manifest, because now you've moved it from the right brain to the left brain. The left brain is a waking state, and the left brain doesn't manifest anything. The left brain is just a manifester, a filter manifester. So it filters out anything you want to manifest. It creates the doubt, the indecision. It's the critical faculty, the left brain. So it's going to filter out all those things and inhibit your ability to manifest. So you must move what your scenarios that you're replaying over and over again from the left brain to the right brain to the back of the mind, allowing it to manifest by forgetting about it. Forget about it. As the mobsters say. So you, again, think about the scenarios, embedded with an emotion, be joyful, role play it over and over again, indulge in it. It's okay. Say, this is what I want. It brings me joy. And then after a while, don't exhaust it to the point of where when you start thinking about it, it has no emotional appeal to you. But after you've done it a number of times, put it to the back of your mind. And a way to ensure that it goes to your back of your mind and that you don't think about it again, because by thinking about it again, as I said before, you move it from the right brain to the left brain, and then you sabotage it. The real key to moving it to the back of your mind is to take up another scenario and indulge that scenario. Because while you're working on that scenario, you're going to forget about the first scenario. You're going to be more focused on number two. And when you're done with number two, do number three. Put number two to the back of your mind. Work on number three. When you're done with number three, put number three to the back of your mind. And now you got number four. So you got 1, 2, and 3 in the back of your mind. Four is transition to the back of your mind. Here comes 5. That's how you do it. Continually working on these scenarios. Well, what are these scenarios? These scenarios are, hey, I'm very pretty. I get things for free. People like giving me things for free. All right. Oh, hey, I may hit lotto. I'm going to visualize a scenario like that. Gonna replay a scenario for 3 days straight, then put it in the back of my mind. What's the next scenario? Next scenario, I'll get the career of my dreams. I'm indulging in how it will be at the present tense moment. key point. It has to be a feeling that you have in the present tense. Don't think about it in the future. Don't say, oh, in the future I'll have this. No, act as if it's happening right now. Indulge in that visualization. Then put it to the back of your mind and move on to the next one. And keep on trucking. That's how you do it. And so when you have accumulated all of those things in the back of your mind, then the spirit within you is going to go back there and reference them and start to manifest them. It's going to say, well, let me manifest number 2, let me manifest number 4, let me manifest number 9. We're going to be manifesting that. And before you know it, you're like, man, life is great. I'm manifesting all kinds of great things in my life. That's how you do it. It's not a big secret. It's not a big key. But see, the ruling elite are more sophisticated. They're smarter. So what they do is they work through the signs and the symbols, and they work with our ancient ancestors, the ancient Kemetic people did, was they worked through the Metuneta. They used the hieroglyphic symbols to communicate to that right hemisphere of the brain, because those are more powerful when you get to the symbology, the symbolism. So it works through analogies, analogous. The obelisk or the Washington, the monument is analogous to a penis, a phallus. The phallus is analogous to vitality, resurrection. The dung beetle is analogous to rebirth. The dung beetle is analogous to the phoenix. The phoenix is analogous to life after death, resurrection. The phoenix is analogous to a new life. It is analogous to the death card, change. It is analogous to the judgment card, rebirth. So these ideas, these concepts, these symbols work on the subconscious mind, and they're very powerful, and they will manifest, and the ruling elite knows that, which is why they impregnated everything they do, from the music to the movies, with these symbols to get you to manifest scenarios. That's what they do. That's their profession. They're black magicians. But you can counteract that by simply dwelling on the scenarios that you want to happen in your life. It takes some work, and if you're not disciplined for enough to do that, then you deserve all the bad luck that comes your way. I'm sorry. If you are not disciplined to take time out and enjoy an imagination of you being prosperous, if you can't do that, then you deserve bad luck. Because Neter, source, energy, gave you Sebek, gave you Heteru, and gave you Aset. Aset is trance. She's devotion. Heteru is imagination, joy. Sebek is belief. This is how it works. So start indulging in imagining things over and over again. And again, the formula is, number 1, take that scenario, visualize it. Number 2, embed it with emotions. Number 3, look at it in the present tense, not the past tense, as if you're enjoying the fruits of your labor right now. And the final one is to put it in your back of your mind and forget about it. That is the key. That's the key. If you don't follow those steps and you don't do it like that, then it's not going to manifest. Because you see, you manifest 2 things: pleasure, joy, and fear. Fear is powerful too. And you manifest these things on a very subconscious level, because they're buried so deep within the subconscious mind that when they manifest, you don't make the connection. You don't see how this scenario really comes from a deep-seated memory of something that happened that you recalled and forgot really quickly, and now it's manifesting. And you're not making that connection because your third eye is not open to see it. You understand? So we don't interpret these things as coming from us. We don't see how they are analogous to the thoughts that we had previously been indulging in. We don't see that key. We think it's an outside world that's just happening on its own. That can't happen. That violates quantum mechanics. It violates the law. Reality cannot exist apart from the observer. You, as the observer, are manifesting all the time, all the time. You are a reality generating machine. And you will manifest very painful things so that you can slap yourself in the face to say, you need to work this crap out. I manifested something this morning, and I was upset at my person. I was like, why did you do that, Kasank? That was a bad move on your part to do this. But I said I had to manifest that, to slap myself in the face, to know to stop acting that way in the future. Because my actions and what I did, I shouldn't have acted that way. I mean, I wasn't hurting anybody, but I knew better on how to conduct myself, but I did something wrong. I said, why did I do that? I didn't have an explanation. And I said, well, I manifested that situation to show my person that this is something you need to correct and work on. Because it needs to be dealt with. And it really came from, and I said, you know what the root cause of that is? That's a low self-esteem that I inherited from my father. And I said, it's been laying in the back of my mind for a couple of weeks now, and now it's popping out to say, hey, you need to deal with me, because I'm going to manifest a situation in your life to make you and wake you up so that you can deal with me. We are so freaking lost, man. I look at our people and I'm like, I don't want to go too much, but I look at our people. I'm like, we have become so dumb. We have become so depraved. And I don't understand, like, how are we not conscious of the fact of what has happened to us? I'm looking at our people and I'm like, do you not realize who you are? You are gods, but you're acting like animals, fighting each other, physical altercations. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to each other? Because we don't understand that reality can be programmed. That you can create, for one thing, you must understand before you can create reality, you understand that this doesn't exist. You must accept that as your core belief. It's Maya, it's an illusion. And then you can move forth and say, I can create scenarios in my life. And those things that I perceive as bad luck or negative circumstances happening are really myself manifesting those to give me an insight as to what's wrong in my psyche. I can't, I look at the situations in our people and I can't believe the damage done. The damage, I look at these pimp pastor ministers. T.D. Jakes is such a fool. Creflo Dollar is such a fool. These men are ignorant. They're ignorant, they're stupid. But they're divine beings. If they would only allow the aspect of Osea within them to rise. And they're leading and misleading people to worship the physical self, to worship an outside false entity that does not exist. If you want to see evil, go to a church and look up at the pulpit. Look what's up there. That is the epitome of evil when you teach somebody that your salvation lies in an outside entity. That's evil. Because you're teaching them to give up their power. You're teaching them they have no power. You're teaching them to shut down the God within them. You're destroying these people by teaching them that. But that's your job, though. That's your job, to destroy them. You've been appointed by the cabal to do that. If everyone started to tune in with the God within them, the vibrational frequency would join together and it would be more powerful. But I am so tired of people giving up their power, submitting to this false reality time and time again. The I-ching, the great Chinese oracle, tells me, Kasaki, you have two paths you can travel. You can travel the way of the sage and go into the mountains and meditate forever, or you can enter society and guide souls and help them. And I debate which one all the time. Because I said too many of us are lost. Too many. And it shouldn't be that way. Because the breadcrumbs are there if you follow them. If you start thinking about, there's the matrix, there's a glitch. I'm looking at a glitch. Oh, I'll ignore that. And that's what we do. We see these glitches within the matrix, which are trying to tell us something. Hello, you have power. And we just ignore it and keep going about our daily routine. I'm just going to go into this fourth dimensional world and get my ass kicked. Oh, there's another glitch. I'm going to ignore that. And the signs are there. Hello, you are powerful. You are God. Hello. And you just keep ignoring that. And we just live in this foul world, man. And we make it more foul. We make it because the culmination of the negative energy increases and brings a different reality, which is depravity, man. Depravity. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired because people are not making the choice to be God and to live righteous. And it's an easy choice. There's no difficulty involved. God says you can be spiritual and still eat pork. God says you can be spiritual and still date a white person or Asian person. God's not putting a requirement on you for that. All God is saying is, look, here, live your destiny. Understand that your reality doesn't exist, it's Maya. Understand that I exist within you, and whatever you do, I'm aware of it. And try as much as possible to live ma'at, be truth, be centered, live min ankin ma'at, which is keeping your heart still. And that's it. But instead, you see people out there just going and doing wayward and backwards things. And then complain about reality. I said, well, you're complaining about something you created. You're complaining about your mate. Your mate is an avatar. So I've discussed with you how to program reality to grant you your desires. I've already given you the formula. Now let's take it to the next level. You can program these avatars, what we call people, to align with your expectation. You simply do the exact same thing. You have a mate that's getting out of pocket. You sit there, visualize him doing the right things. Keep the visualization going over and over again. Create different mini scenarios where he is doing the right thing. Put it to the back of your mind. Move on to the next scenario with him doing the right thing. Put it to the back of your mind. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And then watch his actions change. Watch he manifests into a different person. Your friend is causing you problems. You're bumping heads with a friend. Okay, that's fine. Manifest a new friend. Start meditating, seeing different scenarios where your friend is acting in accordance with your desire. Keep manifesting. Keep imagining, and then put it back in your mind, and then it would manifest. That's simple. The imagination is the key here. There's no occult secret. I can give you a mantra if you want. Yes, that will work. You want a mantra? Just email me. We'll talk about your problem, and then I'll give you a mantra. But the situation or the technique I'm giving you right now works just as well. It's just as powerful. It's only limited by your ability to express the emotion and the imagery, that is all that limits you. And Heather Rue tells us that joy isn't a journey, not a destination, meaning you have the power to manifest joy at will. At will. You have the power to manifest joy at will. You don't need external things to come into your life to allow your person to be joyful. That is a false notion. That is false. This is why in traditional African religions, in Kemet, you would have arranged marriages. Why? You go, arranged marriage, the idiots of Western society were saying, oh, arranged marriages were bad. No, arranged marriage was good because we understood how the spirit worked, and it worked like this. You could set me up with a mate, and I may not find her physically attractive, but I know that within me, because I'm Osir, I have the ability to manifest joy and manifest attraction. Let me say it again. Manifest joy and manifest attraction. Attraction isn't a choice. Attraction is a set of push buttons. It's alchemy that when you hit those right buttons, you feel attraction. You've just programmed yourself to the opposite, not to feel attraction when you see certain character traits or phenotypes. But Heather tells us you can turn that on. It's a switch. This is why when we had arranged marriages, we knew that we could turn on love like that. We can turn on attraction. It was simple as that. So this notion about, I'm just not, you see in these movies where they arrange marriages and the woman says, I'm not attracted to him. Well, that's a damn lie. Because we mastered meditation, trance mastery, meditation, hypnosis. We mastered all of that, so we knew how to switch on attraction. So when a young girl was betrothed to the young man, she was taught in the science and the psychology of how to turn on that attraction. And of course, the dowry didn't help. I mean, it did help, actually. Because when the young man came with the dowry and all that money, there was attraction there, right? A lot of attraction there. He's rich. Oh, I'm very attracted to him now. That's Western society for you, But what I'm saying is that our ancestors mastered self. So they knew how to manifest these emotions. So when you have friends, family members getting out of pocket, you know how to sit down and visualize and role play scenarios when they start acting correctly. And when you do it and when you see results, it will astonish you and it'll make you come to the unequivocal revelation that they do not really exist. They're avatars. They're products of your creation. Because if you have that type of control over them, that means that they're not autonomous, independent beings. They are your creations. Guys, I'm not spitting high science here. This is Kemeticism 101, actually. So I want you to understand that you can program reality to bring to you scenarios and situations that awaken within you, the God, spirit. You can program your friends and family members to act in accordance with that which you desire. Stop fighting with them. Now, there's always going to be blind spots. I'm going to tell you. When I do my oracle reading, I'll say, okay, money is going to be an area for you. And no matter how hard you try to manifest it, it's not going to happen because it's blocked in your destiny. That can happen. That's totally, a lot of times I see that in people. When I do the readings, there's going to be blockages. And what are those blockages? Those blockages are Sekert. Sekert blocks things from you, keeps things from you, creates the limitations, because you know why? Sekert wants you to manifest a lot of spiritual power to overcome that. I mean, I messed up so bad today because it was a personal goal I was trying to reach and I blew it. But I said, well, that's okay because it only teaches me that everything is just an illusion because I can manifest another scenario and another opportunity. I knew it. I'm like, so I lost an opportunity. And my mentor always told me this. He says, don't get hung up on one scenario. If something doesn't go your way, don't get upset that it all fell apart. That's just one scenario. You're going to have millions more that you can create. But we get caught on that. And we're like, oh my God, I missed that opportunity. How did I miss that? I messed up. That's all right. You can manifest another scenario. What are you worried about? Just manifest another one. Mate gets upset and says, I'm leaving. I go, bye, bye. I'll manifest a new mate real quick. Bye. Or I'll manifest her staying. I'm talking just a scenario here. Because no girl would ever leave me. What the? That's not going to happen. But anyway, I digress. But what I'm saying is that we have been taught and conditioned by Western society so much that we only believe in the physical. We only deal with situations that come our way through physical means. And that's wrong. And that's wrong. We can change that by using metaphysical means, by programming reality, programming friends to act in accordance with our desires. Now, as I said again, I'm going to say this, I want to emphasize this. Just because you can program reality and create scenarios and situations that favor you, just because you can program your friends and create conduct within them that act in accordance with what you desire, does not mean that you will not get your butt kicked, that something won't happen to jump out you and mess you up. That's what it's supposed to do, because it's supposed to trip you up to show you something to work on. So you will have those things. I had today, let me tell you what happened today. I had a scenario that happened today that upset my person so much that I was about to tell somebody off. I was about to go all out. And I said, no, hold on, Kazan. And I was saying, man, this is a bad day. I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I manifested a bad day. And do you know, only 2 hours from that, something extraordinary happened to make it a darn good day. A darn good day. And I was just like, I didn't even adhere to my own ideology, which is that anything can happen. What you perceive as something negative can totally flip around and be a very positive thing on you if you have the right attitude, if you have the right belief system. And I've always held to the belief system that if something negative happens, it is going to flip around to turn in your favor. That is a belief system I've always held. And when you hold those belief systems and put it to the back of your mind, they have no choice but to manifest. See, you've got a lot of junk in the trunk. You've got a psyche that's been full of stuff that the ruling elite has put there and programmed into you. And it's false belief systems. It's negative stuff. This is why you manifest negative, crazy crap in your life. But what if you were to purge that and start putting in a new belief system? One of, hey, there are no limitations. Anything that appears to be negative will turn and flip around and favor me. What if you put in that psyche all of that stuff? Can you imagine the world that you would manifest? Can you imagine that? That's what it's like to be a god, having dominion over the world before you. Do you not understand that? That is what it is to be God, controlling the fourth dimensional realm before you. You don't know this. You don't know this. You go around, you let life kick your ass, and you wonder, why me? Why me? Why me? Because you've forgotten you God. That's why. You've forgotten your God. You know? And when you forget, You open that door to those negative experiences happening to you. When you forget your God and you identify with the Sahu nature, the animal spirit, then you have things in your life that start to hit you and you're like, oh, this is awful. Oh, this is terrible. When you have those things, just drop back and meditate and visualize positive scenarios. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And throw it to the back of your mind, and then you'll watch how things will start to suddenly change. And it'll be a subtle change. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be a subtle change, but nevertheless, it's going to be a change. Michael Talbot, in his book, The Holographic Universe, said that we can affect reality by 6%. That's a lot. 6% is a lot. Especially if you keep going. You know what I mean? If you're thinking, which is a false belief, that 6% is not a lot, then compound that. Compound that. You know what I'm saying? 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, because you keep visualizing. You know what I mean? That 6% grows exponentially. And before you know it, you've created a whole new world. I'm not saying you're going to be creating utopia. That's not going to happen. So keep that in mind. You'd be delusional to think that you're going to create utopia. And that would not serve your destiny, because your destiny calls for encounter obstructions, conflicts, and things of that nature. And those things only help you to grow. That's what they're there for. You're going to have to confront some things, but you're also going to get some beautiful things that happen. It's going to balance that stuff out. I think people go to the extreme when I say you have control over your reality and you can control it, and they think that yes, you will be creating a utopian society for yourself to live in. No, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. But you will be able to create concurrent, what you call good luck. You will be able to create that. You will be able to create what you call as wealth or abundance. But the problem that many people get into is they're not consistent, because ma'at is consistency. They do it here, there, or when they get into trouble, they want a ritual, they want a word of power. I'm like, you should have been role playing. You should have been visualizing great scenarios in your life. That's what you should have been doing all along. And then throwing it to the back of your mind so it can manifest. When push comes to shove and now you want a spell, an incantation, a mantra, a cow, it's too late. You can't change that around that quickly. This is why a lot of spiritual culture and magical work really deals with purging the mind, integration of the shadow self. Because when you start to do that, then you won't be manifesting negative things. You'll start to manifest positive things. But you got to consistently play out scenarios in your mind that favor the world that you want. If you don't do that, then you're leaving it up to the deep, dark things that the ruling elite have programmed into your psyche. And believe me, you are programmed. They programmed you first and foremost to accept the grand concept of good and evil. One must be good and the other must be evil. That's a ridiculous concept. That's a ridiculous concept. But you've been programmed to think in that way. And that is the spark of racism. That is a spark of partisan politics. It gives justification for the United States to go to war with other countries because on the basis that we're correct, we're good, and they're evil. You see the trouble that gets into? Instead of living what the I-ching tells us, no, it's not really no good and evil. Everything serves to further. Nothing has a quality in and of itself. You must be like Osir, impartial, centered. You must not be attached to anything emotionally. As Ma'at talks about, your heart must weigh lighter than a feather. Some of us are so emotional, we're nothing but animals because we're so damn emotional. So you have control over creating the scenarios in your life, creating the people in your life, in your world, because you are God and this is your world. You have dominion over it. And as I said before, those who are the ruling elite, who hide behind the veil, who hide behind the curtain, as the Wizard of Oz tried to tell us, put in place mechanisms to keep us away from our power, which are the pimp pastor ministers who live in luxury and wealth and teach you backwoods knowledge. Let me explain something to you. These ministers are criminals. They're criminals of the highest order that should be locked up. And the only reason why they're not locked up because the people allow them to be in positions of power, the people tied to them. I'm going to say this again. Anybody that teaches you that there's an outside savior, teaches you to place your power upon an outside entity, is evil. Is evil. I don't care how much they make it look good. I don't care if they make Mary with wings and lights and music. Oh, it's evil. I don't care how much they teach you Jesus was a loving God. He was loving, he was feminine, he was emasculated, and he came to save your soul. If you accept that, you give up your power. You're saying, and you're telling the Matrix, relinquish my power, give it to an outside entity that will only grant me my power if I go along according to its conditions. Do you see the lunacy of that? Do you see the corrupt nature of that? Do you understand that? Now, in the very beginning, those archetypes, the Buddha, the Muhammad, all fictional people, you know, the Jesus, let me go back again. The Jesus, the Mary, fictional people, correction, Jesus and Mary, fictional people. All right. But they created those archetypes for a good reason. And those were created, that knowledge was coming from our ancestors in ancient Kemet, because they knew it was difficult for you to buy into the fact that you were God. They knew it was a big leap of faith for you to believe that you had power within you to control the fourth dimensional realm. So they had to put in place an archetype for you to identify with and be what we call as a permission slip. So you can allow your power to manifest. So you can pray to Jesus, you can pray to Mary, and then they would grant you your wishes because you were so spiritually mature that you couldn't identify yourself as God. So you had to have these outside archetypes to pray to manifest the power. It's the same way with crystals, a magic wand, an herb. You don't really need those. But we work with them because you're giving yourself permission to express and manifest your power through the crystals, through the herbs. You see what I'm saying? But reality, when you grow to a spiritual level, you'll know that those things aren't needed. That the power is really within you. That's the same concept as, I want you to understand, as Neo, learning from Morpheus, right? That's fine to learn from Morpheus, but you must understand that Morpheus doesn't exist. Morpheus is really a projection of an aspect of you that you manifest to teach yourself about your power. This is why Neo was stronger and greater than Morpheus. Morpheus was an avatar, a manifestation of the Matrix, just to teach you how to manifest your power. But you don't pray to Morpheus. You don't prostrate to Morpheus. You don't worship Morpheus. Because you are the one. You are God. But we've gotten confused in the society. We've taken these archetypes of Jesus and Mary, and what have we done? We postulate to them. We worship them. And we've given up our power and our birthright as gods. Do you see what has gone on and what has trapped the planet? And these pimp pastor ministers know the truth. The Vatican knows that there's no Jesus and no Mary. The Vatican knows that. But they have to maintain power. They have been appointed by the ruling elite to subjugate the masses. Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes and who else? I don't want to just pick on those two. They all know what they're teaching is bullshit. They all know it. But they enjoy the power. Let me tell you something. There are two sides to reality. There's a side that reality puts on, and then there's a darker side. If you think Hollywood is all about actors living their dream, trying to aspire to get roles, and then it's all about artists working to get their work seen. No, Hollywood is deep, dark into the occult. Pedophilia. A lot of pedophiles running around in Hollywood. But you'll never see that. You think these pimp pastor ministers are living truth, living righteous? No, they'll never let you see what they're doing. But they're doing some foul stuff. And yet you go to church and you tie to them and you believe in these men and women. And if you were to glean just a little bit into their personal life, you will be shocked. Misappropriation of funds, living lavishly, buying jets, buying Mercedes for no reason off your money. Sleeping around with the women in their congregation and the men in their congregation and the men in their congregation. But I digress. So I just want you to understand where the power really resides, and really, you're calling the shots. I want you to understand that you are calling the shots. And you are God. And start freaking acting like it. Start acting like it. I mean, really. Find out what your destiny is. You want to do a destiny reading? Hit me up. And then start living your destiny. My destiny is Ma'at Hitep. I have to live truth. Every day I try and aspire. And let me tell you something. Don't think for a minute that I don't struggle with certain things. That I don't have challenges. I sure as heck do. And I'm open and honest about that. Meanwhile, these pimp pastor ministers try to pretend like smile and all. Oh, God is good. Yeah, God is good when you got a congregation that's giving you millions of dollars. And you jet setting around the world with their money. Meanwhile, most of the congregation is living in poverty. Again, the truth is most of the congregation is living in poverty. And they're giving money to these corrupt men and women. And I said it, they're corrupt to the core. They're corrupt because anybody can do the research and find out that the original story, which is plagiarized, Jesus is plagiarized from Osir. It don't take a lot of research to figure that crap out. And because they know it and they won't admit it, they're corrupt. Clifton, that is exactly true. Netta told my person that Seker Hetep governs the reason for my person was attracted to the Assyrian spiritual cultivation, which implies adversity must be met with peace and joy. Darn right. Darn right. No peace, no power. No peace, no power. Power only comes from being at peace. So start acting like the God men and God women that you are. Take the throne back from Set. Go to battle as Harukuhuti and Ben-Hutep and overthrow Set. And then take your seat. This is Kasant, Ma'at Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru, goddess of love and joy. Till my next broadcast, Amen Ra.